Here I am out with my kale plant, and tonight's dinner requires some kale. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest some of this beautiful kale. Hello everyone, this is Debbie from Organic Oasis in Northern California. Tonight for dinner, I'm making Tomato Tim and I a spicy sausage, butternut squash, and kale skillet dinner. I've never made this recipe before, but I'm thinking it's going to be delicious. And I'm using a butternut squash that we harvested from our garden and beautiful kale that I just picked from our fall garden. And I'll be using also some to make this the spice, because my sausage isn't actually spicy. I'm going to be using some pepper flakes from some peppers that I grew last summer and dehydrated. So follow along and let's see if this recipe turns out as delicious as I think it's going to. Thanks for watching. The first thing that we're going to do here is to cut the sausage. I'm just using the Adele sausage. And to be honest, I don't even remember what the flavor is. I took them apart, put them in the freezer. They were from Costco. And there was multi-packages. I guess it comes with 3. This may be either a garlic sausage. It may be a jalapeno. I'm not sure. But I like all of their sausages. So it looks like actually it's some sort of garlic, I think. I think they're garlic. So I'm going to just slice these. And then we're going to fry them. Now these are pre-cooked, which is nice. So you just are basically browning them. I like to get them kind of crispy and black. But basically you're not cooking them. It's not like cooking raw pork where you are having to really be careful of how you cook it. These are going to go right into my skillet. Going to put a little bit of olive oil in here. And in goes the sausage. The pan is getting nice and hot. And I'm just going to, I put a little olive oil in, and I'm just going to saute these sausages for about 5 minutes. While the sausage is sauteing, we're going to peel the butternut, remove the seeds, and chop it up. And basically we're going to cube it, but I'm going to make it into smaller cubes. Not quite dice, but I want small cubes so it cooks quickly. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut the butternut. Now this recipe only requires, it calls for 2 cups of butternut squash peeled and the seeds removed and diced. I'm going to go ahead and cut up the whole thing, and we'll see how much we get out of this. All of these scraps are going into my compost bin. Whoops. Okay, so I've got some seeds here I need to scrape out. Now the sausage has been heating up and cooking here for 5 minutes, so I am going to take and turn my heat down low, and I'm just going to remove the sausage and put it in a little bowl to add back to the skillet later on. So I found this little tool, and it's just really awesome for scraping out the inside of the butternut squash. So it works really, really well to just get the whole inside out here. So this just works out great for peeling and getting out all the seeds. Pretty good. So now we're just gonna go ahead and cut up the butternut squash, and I am going to try to cut it into smaller pieces. Since we're not roasting this, I don't want this to take too long to cook in the skillet. And I only need about 2 cups. So I'm going to go ahead and do half of the butternut and see how much that makes. The recipe calls for 2 cups of butternut squash, peeled and diced. So I've got more than 2 cups here. And I'm going to go ahead and add this back into my skillet. And I'll be cooking it for about 5 to 7 minutes until it gets soft. So I've taken the sausage out and it's sitting on the side here. I'm adding my 2.5 cups. It's about a little over, it's almost 2.5 cups of the butternut squash. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. And saute this about 5 to 7 minutes until the cubes get soft. You don't have to clean the pot, the skillet, just that's all the sausage. That'll just add more flavor to the butternut. To help the butternut squash cook a little bit, I'm going to pour in just a tiny bit of purified water. And that'll help to get the butternut squash cooking and speed up the time it takes to soften it. So while the butternut squash is cooking, we're going to strip our kale. This kale is from our garden. It's just absolutely beautiful and so nutritious. And we're organic, so we put absolutely no chemicals on this kale at all. I've been picking it and using it in smoothies, and our grandson is 2 years old and he loves the smoothies. Even though it's got kale in it and the smoothies are green, he just loves it. It makes me feel good to be able to give him something so nutritious and so organic. So we'll be putting the stems into the compost. The stems, I don't usually use them. They're very bitter. You can make pesto. Some people like to make pesto from it. I personally am not able to tolerate it. I've tried eating it. It's just way too bitter for my taste buds. But when I use kale in cooking or smoothies, then I just love it. I just gave these a little rinse in my sink. Now this recipe calls for 3 cups of chopped, stems removed. I'm not actually going to chop it. I think I'm just going to tear it up and kind of use it like this. Bigger pieces. I'm not actually going to measure this. I picked as much as I have outside. If there's more than 3 cups, I'll just throw it all in. If there's less than 3 cups, then it is what it is. I couldn't take any more off my plant because I want it to keep growing and stay healthy and producing. I actually only have 1 kale plant out there. Next year, I'll probably plant, next season, probably 2 or 3 kale plants, just to have one as a backup in case something happens to one of them. But the thing is it's been growing so healthy, and I've been stripping the leaves, and it's just just 1 large kale plant is all like Tim and I need for what we use it for. Larger family, you would probably want maybe 3 kale plants. But it's nice to have a backup in case, since we're organic, in case one gets, attacked by something. Okay. It looks great. The butternut squash is very soft and ready, but I just turned down the heat, and I'm going to go ahead now and chop the onion. Now, it calls for just 1 small onion diced, and I've decided to use my red onion because I want something a little sweeter. So now we've got our butternut squash, and it's very soft. It's all ready. We've been cooking it for 7 minutes. And now we're going to add onion, 1 small onion here. Just going to use my hands to push it all in. There's an onion that didn't get chopped. I'm going to turn up the heat on the pan a little bit. We're going to add our garlic, 2 cloves of garlic. I don't really measure. I'm just going to put in 2 heaping teaspoons because I like garlic. Doesn't that look beautiful? Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add half a teaspoon of pepper flakes. And I use my dehydrated pepper flakes. It's a mixture of all different types. It's sweet and hot mixed. I have some Tajin, Datil, California Wonder, and I maybe even have some poblano and maybe even Anaheim, all mixed in here. But it just makes a lovely pepper flake, dehydrated pepper flakes. Now I've got my half teaspoon measuring, and I'm just putting in a half teaspoon of pepper flakes. So this again is going to be how you like it. I'm also going to put in a half a teaspoon of paprika. It calls for smoked. I'm just going to put in regular paprika. I don't happen to have smoked. I'm going to put in a half a teaspoon of sea salt. I am going to put in some ground pepper. It calls for a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm just going to put in You know, I'm just going to just do it until I don't want to do it anymore. It's really up to you guys how you do it, how you like it. Okay, I'm going to stir it up really good. It's getting pretty hot, but we're going to be adding water and the kale in here. Okay, I'm going to put the kale in now. All of this lovely, beautiful kale. I just love the colors of all the beautiful food. Now it calls for a 1/4 cup of, you can use water, you can use broth. I have a 1/2 cup of purified water here. I'm just going to pour in a little bit. I'll pour in a 1/4 cup. And basically what we're going to do is cook it for about 3 to 5 minutes until the kale is wilted. It is time to add the sausage back in. This has been cooking for about 4 minutes. The kale is getting wilted. I just love the colors of this dish. Look at this, it's just beautiful. The bright brown and the orange, the purple. It is time to serve this delicious spicy sausage, butternut squash, and kale skillet. What a delicious dinner. Let me get another bowl. Tim and I are going to have a wonderful dinner tonight. And then on top of this, we're going to sprinkle some Parmesan cheese. Just the Parmesan cheese I use from Kirkland. They have good Parmesan cheese. And I'm going to go double dosing on this. Doesn't that look beautiful? Ooh, yummy. So this absolutely looks delicious. And now I'm going to try it. I'll see if I can get a little bit of everything in here. The sausage and everything. You're going to want to try this. It's absolutely delicious. If you grow butternut squash, you grow kale, you grow onions, you could throw this dish together for your family. It's absolutely delicious. You could put this on top of a rice. You could put it on top of a polenta, mashed potatoes, or anything like that if you want. Tim and I are just eating it like this. We don't need the extra carbs. If you like our recipes and you like our organic gardening tips and recipes and compost ideas, please subscribe to our channel. Please follow along. Tim and I right now, we are not monetized. We have been probably doing videos for 2 years now, but we just got serious about it this last year. And thank you to our almost 300 subscribers. But if you like this type of thing, please subscribe and support us by following our channel. Thank you so much.